Hello everybody, this is going to be a commentary on using Shaco to carry yourself back to gold either after your provisionals, new season provisionals, or just in general carrying yourself to gold out of silver. So this game, we already had a fight earlier and I was able to get first blood, but we lost the skirmish. Vayne was able to get a kill. So now I'm heading down here bot because I can see that this massive fight is happening. And though I was halfway across the map, I knew I could get here in time to catch the end of the fight. And because I decided to come down here, we're able to go back on and re-engage onto these guys. Now Thresh starts to try and run away, and so I continue to chase him up while Gragas finishes off the Graves. When people split off like that, you generally want to go for the people who, if they don't immediately die, they're going to get back to the turret and escape. If I had gone for the Graves there, we would have, of course, killed him, but we would have only gotten one of the two kills. It would have been a one-for-one trade. ADC for ADC. Instead, we were able to get both of them. And now Gragas has another kill and another assist. I have a kill and an assist. And, so bot lane is a lot more ahead than it otherwise would have been. So they can, and with Vayne already having a kill, they can start to win fights, and they can start to get it. They can start to get an advantage. Now here, I see Akali's about to hit 6, and they've been fighting quite a bit in this lane. So I assume that Akali is going to go onto Kayle, or at least they're going to get in the fight as Akali approaches 6. So I can see here she's about to hit 6. She ends up going into her shroud, hitting 6 in her shroud, but I'm coming in to stop her from going aggressive. She would have won this trade easily. Now Kayle is able to ulti and get away while I finish off Akali. You want to watch for the opposing laner's power spikes and your own laner's power spikes. Before 6, Akali's not going to be going too aggressive onto anybody, but once she hits 6, she starts getting much more aggressive. And here, instead of just going back, I'm going to push the lane to turret so that Akali loses XP and farm to the turret, and I'm going to get some damage down. Now Skarner's going to come in, but it's important that you focus on the objectives after you get a kill. If you just get a kill, the gold's great, especially early game, but it's much more important that you start fighting towards those objectives. Don't just leave kills as kills, because then you don't gain advantages. Now here, I'm going to go and pick up my red buff. And once I get it, I'm going to go back and buy. It had just spawned, and even though I was kind of low on mana and didn't have my smite, I knew I wanted to get it. I wanted to get it immediately so that no one could come in and disrupt it. Also, it allows me to go back and then immediately come out and start affecting the map again. So I'm going to go back, and I have enough for my Tiamat, and that's a pretty big power spike for me. So I'm going to pick up some pots so I can stay out for longer. And those are going to come in handy. Now, Akali managed to kill our Kayle with the help from Skarner, and Poppy managed to kill Teemo. But bot lane is snowballing like crazy. Which is good for us considering it's a Vayne. So I'm going to come in here, hold this lane. Once I push it out, I'm going to start going down bot. Now they're going to be able to get this Vayne. But I see that Akali's going to be coming back through, and Skarner's going to be going for his blue, because his blue is up. I see that he doesn't have a blue buff. That means he's going to be coming for his blue soon. I don't know exactly when it's going to spawn. And yes, it's up. So I'm going to wait here. I should have placed a box where I was. That would have caused Akali to have a little bit more trouble coming through here. Like right here, I didn't expect her to come up through me, so I'm able to get a little bit of damage down on her, and then she gets away. So now I'm waiting to go in and steal this blue buff. Skarner uses smite too early, and then I can come in. So I'm going to get a kill on Skarner, and then here, Thresh does something really good. He puts down a pink ward. Now if not for that pink ward, I would have tried to dodge back and Q in the opposite direction or to the side and try and get away sneakily, but because that pink ward is there, anywhere I Q, I'm going to get seen. So So that was well done by Thresh. And so I might have gotten away if he placed the pink ward. If he hadn't placed the pink ward. So now you see how much damage Vayne is starting to deal. And I also see that Teemo is able to get kind of back in it by getting a kill onto Poppy. Now Poppy heavily outscales a Teemo. But that still is good that she isn't losing completely. Teemo isn't losing completely. Now here Vayne's able to get another kill. I think at this point Vayne was 6-1 after the snowballing we were able to get her. So here I pick up our buff. Here Kayle was dying a lot and behind, so I wasn't going to be giving over the buffs. Generally if I'm ahead I will take the buffs. So Akali manages to roam down and get a kill, but Kayle takes the mid tower. So here I'm going to check their red buff. And I notice that Skarner's holding mid and Akali's coming up. So the two of them are trying to go in on this Kayle. Now I tell this Kayle to go in and bait. So she comes in because I know we can win this 2v2. So I come in, and Skarner tries to flash in for the ult, but misses. And Kayle's able to use her ulti, and we're able to, Akali is able to kill this Kayle because she's gotten a lot of kills. But we're able to get both of them with the help of Gragas coming in. So when you know your power spikes, and when you know what you can do, then you can set up baits like that. Now here, again, instead of going back, I know I can get damage down this turret, so I'm going to stand here. And if you notice, these minions are going to die before the next wave comes, so I put down a box so that it gives one extra turret shot, so that the next wave is able to reach by the time before it starts to hit me. Because that would waste a lot of time, and I'm able to just get this turret before Skarner and Poppy come through. And then get away. So now I have two mid turrets. That opens up the map like crazy, especially with bot lane getting the turret down there.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
We now completely have control over the bottom side of the map.
An enemy has been slain.
So here I'm going to clear this pink ward. And Dragon's up right now, so we're going to go for that. But right now we don't have the position on it, so I'm going to go get our red buff that's just spawning. And then come back for Dragons once my team is ready. Our bot lane is strong enough at this point that they can completely be left alone and they'll be able to deal with anyone who comes to try and kill them. So even though mid and top are behind, me being ahead and bot lane being so far ahead is a great thing. The only one we have to worry about is Akali, but I can usually burst her. And that's in fact why I build incredibly squishy this game. Incredibly damage heavy, because I want to be able to take out Akali very quickly in fights, so that she can't do much. Akali's roams are still getting her a lot of kills. She's quite a bit ahead, but... and Kayle's dying as well. But that's okay because we have a lot of map pressure. Bot lane. Everyone's gonna start being dragged down there, and then I can start doing what I need to do in other lanes. So right now I'm just farming up the jungle and waiting, because in a second their blue buff is going to spawn. And I'm gonna go and contest because I know they're gonna be there. Always try and keep track of your enemy's buff timers and try and get those. When you go to a buff, try and clear it completely so that you have the timer. Maybe not right at the beginning of the game. I don't usually clear the first buff I steal, but later in the game it's important. So here it's spawned, and I know that they're in the area. So we're gonna wait. I'm gonna throw down a ward, and then I'm just gonna go over because I know I can get out of these situations. So there might be a lot of them here, but I'm going to be able to kill this Skarner very quickly. So we get this Skarner, and then we start getting damage down on this Akali. She's able to flash out, so we get a bunch of summoners, and we get some damage down on the Thresh. Just the two of us. Now we're gonna steal this blue buff, and they can't really do anything about it. So I'm gonna come in, Vayne's giving it to me, so I'm gonna throw my Shiv in there and take it. And now I'm gonna farm this. You notice I'm constantly doing things. I've never stopped doing things. If ever you can, there's never really been a good time for me to back, and that's okay, because you are so based on just your pressure. You want to be out there as much as you can. If you don't need to back, don't back. It ends up causing fight loss coming up, though. So here I'm going to go in, and if I had items, I would be able to kill. I would be able to easily get this double kill. So we just get Thresh, and I get him with a Tiamat spike because he was going to get away. And then we almost get this Akali, and I think I would have with slightly better play. But Skarner comes in and is able to suppress me, while Gragas ran away and gave me the opportunity. So now I'm trying to run away, and if Akali doesn't come back, we get this here, and they're able to kill my box before it activates. But our Vayne comes in too. When you have an incredibly mobile team like we do, it's okay sometimes to get into overextended fights when we're this far ahead, because they're going to be able to come in and clean up. Vayne comes in and gets a double kill. So things are looking really good for us, and we're just going to keep trying to gain advantages. Now here they overstay up top, and in fact, Kayle ends up dying when Teemo really could have just hit that tower one more time, and Kayle wouldn't have taken the tower shot, and they probably both could have gotten out, but they still shouldn't have overstayed like that. The towers at that point don't regenerate, or at least not very quickly, and so you don't need to worry about finishing it off exactly, because you're going to be able to get it. So here I'm going to again go get my buff, but then I see that Vayne is being is in a good position for us to go through. So if anybody stays, anybody comes in, we're going to be able to get a kill. Like here, Thresh overstays, Thresh gets in a bad position, and we immediately kill it. You hear there are a bunch of them, but we have a good position. So if they're all mid, and we can't get anything mid, then you shouldn't stay mid. There's no point staring at each other. You can leave your team to stare at them while you go up and get something. Like I finish off this tower that they weren't able to get earlier, and I'm just going to keep pushing. Now here we've got 4 mid, and I notice that they're getting in a good position to fight. So I drag 2 people up here, so we start being able to go towards their mid tower. Now they go away, and I see if all of them go away, I either drag 2 people up here or kill one. But if I drag 2 people up here, we can get mid tower, we can get a 4v3 fight down there. But if all 5 of them go down and we're fighting a 4v5, my team is strong enough to deal with them even if they lose the fight, and I can stay up here and use my clone to very quickly take these objectives. So they can't come up and deal with me because they're in the middle of a fight. And so now I'm able to get both the tower and the inhib while they're fighting. And our team, while we technically lost the fight, we gained such an objective and they couldn't get anything off of it.
An ally has been slain. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
The joke's on you.
So our team ended up behind in that fight, but that's okay because we got something. See, if you're not there for the fight, get something. Or it's often better to not be there than to be there, because Shaco's not that great at team fighting unless you can get in and blow somebody up and get a pick. So if you can do that, if you can catch someone out, then great, but if you're just gonna stand there and look at each other and then somebody engages, you're probably going to lose as Shaco, or at least not be of much use. So instead you should go where you can be useful. So here I see an opportunity where Kayle could have stayed and baited the 1v2 and we could have gone in, but she doesn't end up doing that. Instead, all of them are going to go back towards mid lane, and I'm going to come in here and see that they're wandering around the jungle. And now we're going to get another fight win because I was able to just apply pressure and be there. And they focus so hard on trying to come in and kill me that my team is able to just get a free reign on coming in and killing them. You can often, with your ult and your Q, and just your general kit, completely take the focus of a fight and still not die. And if the other team is focusing you, they're doing something wrong. They don't want to focus you. Because if they're focusing you, that means that your carries get to just wail on them. And so you want to force them to deal with you. If you're this far ahead, it's great. Some people may say that you want to give the kills on Shaco, and while that's true, you want your team to be fed. If you're fed, then that means, if you're fed and at least one member of your team is, that means that they don't know who to deal with, because you can one-shot people, you can two-shot an ADC, and they don't really know who to deal with, and so team fights and skirmishes in general usually go in your favor. So here, I say to back off. I have a lot of gold in my inventory, and we weren't going to get anything standing there trying to siege that turret, because we aren't really a siege comp, and if we are, we were getting lower, we weren't having the advantage we usually would. So it's better to just keep roaming around the map, keep getting advantages in more subtle ways. So here I'm going to go out, and I'm going to go finally pick up this blue buff. So now we have their top inhib down.
Now you don't.
And that means that super minions are going into their base. And so that's always going to drag someone away to deal with it, meaning that we can get an advantage elsewhere on the map. So coming in here, I'm just trying to check on this red buff, and it wasn't cleared because we had stolen it earlier and left it up, but as I said earlier, I think it's better to have the timer, so I just, because this is our jungle at this point, I just cleared it just in case we get to that point, and I can just have an extra red buff. So here we don't have Vayne, so I want them to avoid fighting. Instead, I'm just going to try and get all the waves pushing in, because top is pushing in because they have super minions, mid is pushed to them, and now Vayne is pushing this one up. I'm going to go and cut off this wave so that Vayne doesn't have to keep pushing. We can just have the wave going into their turret. And now Gragas is going to get caught, but because we're so far ahead, I can just go in and we can take out their team. And again, look, they focus me, and so Vayne is able to just kill them all. We get an ace, almost clean ace, because they focused me, because we are so far ahead. So here we're gonna get a little cocky, we're gonna go for more, but really, we're able to get both of these turrets, and we aren't able to get the Nexus, which is fine, because it's not, with all the waves pushing towards them, and with all these inhibs down, they weren't going to be able to get anything. So while it's bad to lose a fight near their Nexus, it's better than losing a fight when they can take something. So here I just decide to go in, where I should have just queued out. Here our Kale could have turned around and killed Akali, but she would have died for it. So here I'm just going to buy, but the game's basically over at this point. We were able to use our map pressure to get our bot lane ahead and keep advantages elsewhere on the map as well. Even though Kale was very far behind the Akali, I was still able to get 2 turrets, mid-turrets, just based off of being there at the right time. Getting an advantage and then using that to get an objective instead of just going away. So that was this video. I hope you learned something and enjoyed. Thanks for watching.